If you crochet plants, you probably know the struggle of making sure your crochet plants are stable and don't flop over. In fact, there are many different ways that you can make sure your crochet plants are as stable and professional looking as they possibly can be. Over the years of designing and crocheting crochet plants, I have found different ways to increase your plant stability, making them that much better. So today I wanted to discuss different problems you might encounter as a crochet plant maker and different ways that you can solve these issues. Some of these solutions are fairly simple. Actually, they're all pretty simple. So I hope you join me and let's make our crochet plants the best that they can be. So problem number one that a lot of people that crochet plants might find is that the bottom of your crocheted plant is uneven, which makes it easy to topple over. It is almost impossible to achieve a completely flat surface at the bottom of crocheted pots due to the nature of the stitches and stuffing. But a simple way that you can add some extra stability to the base of your crochet pots is to include an insert. Now these inserts could be cardboard, or you could also use wooden circles placed to fit the bottom of the pot, then add stuffing to hold it in place. So this technique can help create a flatter surface on your crochet pot, reducing the likelihood of the pot tipping over. And let's be honest, most of us have cardboard boxes or scraps hanging around our house. If you order things on Amazon, for example, I get Amazon boxes all the time. Just save those boxes and reuse them for later for your crochet plants. All you have to do is simply trace the bottom of the pot onto the cardboard, cut it out with scissors, and trim as necessary to ensure it fits snugly at the bottom of your pot. Now, if you don't have cardboard or you don't want to go through tracing and cutting the cardboard to fit in the bottom of your pot, you can purchase small wooden circles on Amazon, which are used for crafting. You can most likely find these at Michael's or Joann's as well, or any crafting store. All you have to do if you're using wooden circles is just measure the bottom of your pot and then order a wooden circle that is going to fit closely to the bottom of your pot. I would definitely recommend not buying a wooden circle that's slightly larger than the bottom of your pot. It's going to cause the stitches to stretch out at the bottom. If anything, go a little bit smaller, more so than larger. But an added bonus for using the wooden circles is they have a little bit more weight than just a piece of cardboard. So it might be a good alternative, but if you're looking on saving more money and reusing things you already have around the house, cardboard is the best option for that. Next problem that you may encounter is having easily knocked over plants or plants that are top heavy. Now, I learned this lesson the hard way. As someone who sells a lot of my creations at craft shows, I discovered after my first outdoor craft show that my plants just were not going to fare well in windy weather. It was a nightmare, just constantly picking up my plants. Any little gust of wind just blew them off my shelves. It was frustrating because then they got dirty, and I realized that I was going to have to find a way to add a little bit more weight to my plants because the stuffing and the yarn just was not heavy enough to prevent it from being blown over in the wind. Now, if you're not planning on selling your crochet plants in an outdoor space, or you are just going to be keeping your crochet plants indoors, you're probably thinking, how does this apply to me? Well, they can still easily top over even being indoors. So this is still a good principle to apply even if you're only planning on keeping your crochet plants indoors. And the simplest solution that I could find was adding weight to the base of each of your crochet plants pots. So my goal was to find a material that added weight to my pot while avoiding missshaping it with large objects or bulky objects that would make the pot look weird. So I ended up discovering poly pellets, which are specifically designed to add weight to your pieces. So poly pellets are just small plastic beads. Typically, my process for incorporating poly pellets into my potted crochet plants begins with placing an insert or a cardboard base in the pot, which we just discussed this previously in the video. Depending on the size of your pot, pour a layer of poly pellets. I usually pour about ½ inch to an inch or 1 to 3 centimeters deep at the bottom of my pot. And then after that, add your polyfill stuffing before finishing off the pot. This method creates the perfect amount of weight to keep your potted plant stable. Now, I know I have heard this before, and a lot of people aren't huge fans of using plastic. It's not the best for the environment. So if you're looking for a more eco-friendly solution, you can purchase little glass beads on Amazon or even small beans from the grocery store. Instead of using poly pellets, I would just be careful with what you choose. Smaller is probably better because you don't want anything big and bulky that's going to potentially change the shape of your crochet pot, but the beans and glass beads are great alternative options to the poly pellets. Our next problem that you may encounter has to do with leaves or crochet flowers that have petals. You may find that crocheting your leaves and petals are floppy and fall over easily, making it harder to shape your piece how you would like. So simply put, most yarn is not strong enough to hold itself up on its own. So the simplest solution that I found was using some 22 gauge floral wire and just crocheting that around the edge of your leaf or the edge of your petals. This not only makes your leaves of your plant or the petals of your flower more stable, but it also makes it easier to change the design and shape them as you desire. So 2 of my patterns that I currently have that you can easily apply this principle to are my mini spider plant and the mini snake plant in the mini houseplant collection crochet pattern. So I am going to show you how to apply this principle to both of those plants. So like I said, we are going to be using some 22 gauge floral wire. You are going to first wrap the floral wire around the edge of the leaf, shaping it to match the leaf's form. You want to have about an inch or 2.5 centimeter piece of floral wire sticking out on either side of the leaf. Once you get it to how you like it, then go ahead and cut the floral wire on one side. So as you can see, the floral wire is slightly longer on each side of the leaf. When you sew your leaf to the soil, you will hide those little pieces of the floral wire into the soil. That way it's not poking out of your leaf. Next, we are going to be crocheting our floral wire around the edge of our leaf. So while holding the floral wire in place around the leaf, you will insert your hook into the designated stitch at the base of the leaf. Then taking your yarn that you will be using to crochet around the edge, then yarn over, pulling a loop through the stitch. Yarn over again and complete the designated stitch according to your pattern. In this case, I am going to crochet a single crochet. Make sure while you are crocheting your stitches that the floral wire is included in between your stitches. So let's go ahead and do another stitch. We'll insert our hook into our stitch, pulling a loop through our stitch, yarning over again, completing the single crochet. Notice how each time I am crocheting the stitches, I am holding the floral wire against the edge of the leaf, and it is being crocheted in between the stitches. Just make sure the floral wire is always sitting above your hook. It should never be below your hook. I'm going to continue crocheting this edge of the leaf until we reach the top. Once you reach the top of your leaf, make sure you are shaping the floral wire around the top, and then begin crocheting as you were on the first edge of the leaf. Continuing around to the other edge of the leaf, crochet until you reach the end of your leaf. Once you have finished crocheting to the edge of your leaf, you can go ahead and fasten off the yarn. And you now have a leaf that is much more sturdy and so much easier to shape it how you would like it to look. And like I said, this same technique can be applied to the spider plant leaves of the mini houseplant collection. So you will follow the same steps by cutting a piece of floral wire around the shape of your leaf. Then taking the yarn that you will use to crochet around your leaf, hold the floral wire in place around the edge of the leaf, and then insert your hook into the designated stitch at the base of the leaf, yarning over and pulling a loop through the stitch. I will again be doing some single crochets around the edge of my leaf. Make sure you are ensuring that the floral wire is included in between the stitches, just as you did in the snake plant. And then continue crocheting around the edge of the leaf, including the floral wire in between your stitches as you go. Once you reach the end of the leaf, go ahead and fasten off. And you now have a spider plant leaf that is much more sturdy and easy to shape. Another problem that you may encounter is the main piece or the stem of your flower or plant is top heavy. So the simplest solution is to take either pipe cleaners or a thicker floral wire, inserting them into the stem of your flower or plant. So I use this technique for my mini sunflower buddy and my full-size sunflower buddy. After I crochet the stem, I fold a couple of white pipe cleaners in half and insert them into the stem. Once you get the pipe cleaners, or like I mentioned, you can also use thicker floral wire, you can continue crocheting your piece with the floral wire or the pipe cleaners inside of the stem. With the pipe cleaners or floral wire in the stem, your flower or plant will stand much straighter, and it also allows you to customize the direction of which way either your flower faces or your plant is shaped. And last but not least, if you have tried all of the solutions I've previously talked about and you're still not happy with how stable your crochet plant is, you can achieve the ultimate amount of stability with your crochet plants by using either ceramic pots or terracotta pots. There are so many decorative and fun pots available that you can find at most local craft stores, or you can even purchase online that you can use to crochet around your plants. For example, my Valentine's cactus crochet pattern, I used a small ceramic pot instead of a crocheted pot in this design. Not only are you saving time by placing your plants in a already made pot, you are exponentially increasing your plant's stability. I mean, unless you're throwing your plant and the pot breaks, more than likely your plant's not gonna fall over. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope all of these solutions to help make your crochet plants more stable are helpful and that you can apply them to your next crochet plant that you make. If you would like to learn more about how to make your crochet plants stable, I do have a blog post explaining everything in written format, which you can find the link to my blog post down in the description below. And of course, all of my crochet plant patterns are on my website, which I will include a link for that down below as well. If you are interested in getting into crocheting some plants, I am a little bit biased, but I highly recommend my patterns. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tips coming in the future. But thank you so much again for watching. I hope you guys have a great week, and as always, happy crocheting. Bye everyone.